In John 14:16, Jesus said, I will ask the Father, and he will give you another helper. He will give you this helper to be with you forever. And he's talking about the Holy Spirit. Now, the word helper is sometimes different in different translations. Sometimes they use the word helper in a Bible translation, but sometimes they also use words like advocate, which means somebody who speaks on your behalf, comforter, and counselor. And so I wanted to talk a little bit more about what the word comforter means to you. What do you think of whenever you think of the word comforter? I think of things that make me feel better. One of the things that I also think of is what we put on our beds. There's a type of bedspread that's a thick quilted bedspread that's called a comforter. Comforters aren't the only thing that gives us comfort on cold nights. This is an Afghan that I had that my aunt gave me whenever I was going away to college. It's a nice thick crochet that she wanted me to have in case it was cold in the dorm. But it also has sort of a touch of home to it because it reminds me of family. And so it has a double comfort level to it where it's warm, but it's also, a connection I have to family. And maybe you have an Afghan that means something special to you, or maybe you have a quilt like this one that somebody made for you, and it's nice to curl up in it, but it's also a touch of family, a reminder of things, and a comfort to you in more than one way. Today we're going to do a craft that is designed to help you remember the comfort that you find in the Holy Spirit. And we're going to design a quilt square. Quilts are generally made up of a bunch of different squares that are then sewn together. And so we're going to design a quilt square today. And you can design it however you want, but I'm going to show you how I did mine. But these are called pinwheels, and if you want to, you can do it like this, but you can also do another design if you want. You can do it, you can color it in, you can do a mosaic, you can cut out shapes and do it like you would an applique. You can glue on buttons and beads, however you want to design your quilt square. That's up to you, but I'm going to show you how I did mine. What you'll need to do is to create a grid. You'll need to draw off 1-inch lines this way and 1-inch lines this way. Now I also did diagonal lines, which go from corner to corner here, and then you count down 1, 2 inches, draw another diagonal, 1, 2 inches, draw another diagonal, and I did that on both sides. With the pinwheels, it works really well to have at least 2 contrasting colors for them, and I'm going to use pink here just to show you what it looks like. So let's see, I'm going to use the dark on the bigger ones, so I'm going to color in this one, and then I'm going to skip one, and I'm going to color this one, skip one, color this one, and skip one, color this one. Okay? Now if I were going to do a pinwheel down here, I'd actually do it like this. Now I'm going to do the contrast part. Now, see how this goes straight up and down, and this edge goes kind of diagonal? I want to start at the top corner of that straight edged one, and I'm going to do what's called bisecting this white triangle here, which means splitting it in exactly two parts as best as I can do it. So see, my line divides it into two, and then I'm going to color in this part. Now my straight edge is here, so I want to draw my line to it. Alright, now what I did for these are meant to show stitching, and a lot of the time whenever you're quilting, what you'll do is you'll design your squares, you'll sew them all together, then you'll put what's called batting between what you've just created and a big piece of fabric, and then you'll sew it together and you'll stitch all sorts of designs in. So that's what I've done here to show sort of stitching. And the way I did it was, so see this 2x2 square? I sort of drew a semicircle here and a semicircle to here, and then this way and this way. And then you can take a gel pen or a fine tip pen of some sort, and this one's a Sharpie, and I just drew a dotted line tracing those 4 semicircles. And then I took my eraser and I erased my pencil marks so that it was a clean white space. And you can do whatever colors you want. You can do, if you don't want to do this kind of stitching, a lot of quilts will do flowers or circles or freeform, however you want it to look. And then on the back, I wrote the memory verse for today, John 14:16. I will ask the Father, and he will give you another helper. He will give you this helper to be with you forever. So this is a way to remember the comfort that the Holy Spirit brings to us. It's something that you can share with somebody to tell them about the comfort that the Holy Spirit and Jesus can bring to them.